The Karma Kandam in Vedas, Upanishad, Katha Upanishad, Garuda Puran talks about the onward march to the beyond by the Atman. The Atma, now it is in disembodied form because there is no Sarira, and it hovers about its original and familiar places for 10 days. It is in this form, it's a ghost during these 10 days. The astral body, the Sukshama Sarira, now it has to take form because it is Stula Sarira, the body has gone. Now Sukshama Sarira has to form, it takes shape. From the day to day, the formation of the head, the eyes, and other limbs, Linga Sarira, Sukshama Sarira takes place in this 10 days after the death. And it has to be fed, it has to be nourished by the sesame seeds, the eld, and water poured out in libation over the stones, the kallundinadu stones, which represents the ancestors. The Atma is fully embodied. On the 11th day, it starts its journey to the judgment seat of the Lord Yama, the god of death. It takes 1 full year from the time of death to reach Lord Yama's place, 1 year. So 16 Shraaddhams are done for nourishment and feeding the Atma. And how is the path for the Atma? The soul, when it travels, it is beset with all obstacles, distress, and difficulties. The man who has done the most wicked deeds suffers more. But the difficulties can be removed, and the journey can be rendered little bit comfortable and easy. How? By the oblations and offerings by the son of the deceased during the first year of the soul's journey, by feeding pure and learned Brahmins. The son should offer rice balls to the father, Pinda. He should do it without weeping. Death is certain for those who are born, and birth is certain for those who are dead. So this is inevitable. Therefore, you should not grieve over it. 10 days rites should not be neglected. The Karta, the son, should perform the Sapinda ceremony on the 12th day, and by 16 monthly offerings in that year. The Atma sustained on its onward journey to the judgment seat by these libations offered by the sun. Anyone can do it in the place of sun also. The Atma is scorched on the way by intense heat, but the gift of an umbrella by the sun on the 11th day gives pleasant shade above the head. The path is full of thorns, but the gift of the shoes, the chappal, helps him to ride on the horses. The miseries of cold, heat, and wind are dreadful there during the journey, but he goes comfortably along the way by the power of the gift of cloths by the sun. There is great heat, there is no water, but drinks water when thirsty through the gift by the water pot, the copper water pot offered by the sun as a dhan. So it is philanthropic. Dhan is economic recycling. The sun should make a gift, even if possible a cow. Now comes the Atma, goes to Chitragupta, the accountant general of the kingdom of the Lord Yama, and he sees all the bad actions on the earth, life of in this earth. After that 1 full year, the Atma leaves for Pretava, the garb of the traveler. He is raised to the status of Pitru. Suppose if he has done more wicked actions, he suffers in Naraka. From there, after the sufferings, he goes to Pitruloka. Ancestor worship is one of the fundamental doctrines of Hinduism. There are 3 stages in the ancestral life: the father, the grandfather, and the great-grandfather, and mother, grandmother, and the great-grandmother from 2 lineage, fathers and the mother side. There are ancestors to anyone living here. These are all the ancestors. He who has done meritorious actions on this earth becomes united to along with the ancestors in Pitruloka and lives with them without much sufferings. Those who have given up the performance of Shraddha on this earth or Tarpana and other religious rites on account of wrong influence, ignorance, egoism, they have done great harm to their ancestors and also to themselves also. They should wake up now. They should start doing these ceremonies from now. It is not too late now. Shraddha ceremony is done once in every year. A day of the Pitrus is equal to the 1 year of human computation. This is the reason why we have to perform Shraddha ceremony once in a year. If you perform Shraddha ceremony once in a year, it is equal to daily performance of Shraddha for the Pitrus. In their calculation, we, the sons, live only for a few days because of the longest period of human existence is 100 years. And it's merely 100 days for them. Some people entertain this doubt. When the Jiva, the Atma, undergoes transmigration and takes another birth after leaving this physical body, is it necessary that we should perform Shraddha ceremony for him? Very interesting question. He is no more in the heavens. That's they say. To whom will these oblations reach? To whom these offerings reach? In the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna has made it very clear that those virtuous persons who perform sacrifices for the attainment of heaven attain those worlds of heaven. There, having enjoyed the spacious world of Swarga, their punya exhausted, they enter the world of mortals, Pitruloka, thus following the dharma of the triad. Desiring objects of desires, they attain to the state of going and returning. This is told in Bhagavad Gita. This establishes in the theory of attainment of heaven after death and the rebirth in the mortal world after the exhaustion of various karma, good karma. The enjoyments in heaven and the peace of the soul are enhanced by the performance of Shraddha. The sufferings in the world, suppose if they suffer, the suffering in that world, other than the heaven, suppose, according to the merits of the one's actions, is mitigated by the performance of Shraddha. In both sides, if it enhances their happiness, suppose if they suffer, it mitigated the sufferings because of the Shraddha ceremony. So in both the cases, performance of Shraddha is a great help for those souls. The Pitrus remain in heaven, Pitruloka, Chandraloka, for a very long period. Okay, according to the theory of transmigration, even if the individual to take another birth immediately after the death, the performance of Shraddha adds to the happiness of the newly born. So it is imperative duty of everybody to perform Shraddha ceremony for his parents and forefathers. Shraddha ceremony should be performed with great Shraddha, faith, as long as you live. Some people argue and say that if one performs Shraddha ceremony for forefathers and father in Gaya and other places of religious importance, he need not have to do it every year. This is not general rule. It does not apply to all. It applies only in certain exceptional cases. If people take shelter under this exception and discontinue Shraddha ceremony by once offering Pinda at Gaya, they do so out of ignorance. They consider it merely a burden to perform Shraddha ceremony and avoid it. They have not discharged their duties properly. So now we know what is the meaning of Shraaddham. This whole video is aimed at people, younger generation, who for some reasons not able to read Vedas, scriptures, Upanishads, Kathopanishad, Garuda Puran. I am giving the gist of those things which our ancestors for many years, thousands of years have followed. Follow this because logically speaking, that you are not from this place, you have come from some other place. Do you agree rationally this? Yes. So we also know that we go to some other place, rationally the answer will be yes. So even if the rationalist has to accept to this Vedic theory,